Welcome to Practically Political. I'm Dave Spencer.
And I'm Carrie Sheffield. Dave, let's get right to it. All right, well, looking ahead to 2024, given that President Biden, according to the American people and all the polls, he's not doing a great job, don't you think it might be smart for Democrats to put up a different candidate for 2024? I'm thinking possibly an actual moderate. Instead of what we're getting right now with Biden, it's a weak, pushed around Trojan horse who's become this poster child, a vessel for the hardest left policies. What do you think?
Well, before I answer the question, or I should say, respond to the statement, let me say that Biden has achieved some things. Certainly, he's achieved a lot more legislatively than his predecessor, and he's not associated with the hard left policies such as defund the police and a lot of other ones. That's more the AOC Cori Bush territory. So I still think he is moderate, but
he did try to put an executive order to defund the police.
Anyway, I don't want to argue about it, but anyway, so I think as far as 2024 goes, the answer is yes. I think he should not run again, and I think he should tell people and tell the country as soon as possible that he's not going to run again. And there are several reasons for this. First of all, obviously, the earlier he makes that announcement, the sooner it'll free up people to start running their campaigns, making the calls, laying the groundwork, getting the infrastructure ready. And secondly, I'm going to be a little au contraire here, but I think actually people say, oh, he's going to be a lame duck. He's not going to be able to do as much. I disagree. I think the fact that he's announcing that he's not going to run again is going to free him up to do what he wants to do and to really be aggressive and to pursue the policies he thinks are best for the country, and frankly, that might bring his approval rating up, though his approval rating is about what Obama's was and what George W. Bush's was and what Bill Clinton's was at the same point in their presidency. So it's certainly not lost. They were all in the low to mid 40s, which is where he is. But more importantly, okay, who should run? Okay, I really think that definitely you want someone who is a governor. Governors make the best presidents, okay? Congressmen do not make very good presidents. People that say they're businessmen, like our previous president who ended up being the worst president in history, certainly don't make very good presidents. My choice would be Andy Beshear, governor of Kentucky, or Roy Cooper, governor of North Carolina. I think they both have proven they can govern effectively in a red and a purple state. They've worked with legislatures controlled by the other party, and they have good, solid approval ratings. And Roy Cooper was reelected, and I think Andy Beshear will also be reelected. So that's what I'd like to see. If you want someone who's more mainstream, or more well-known, I should say, I would say Amy Klobuchar would be the person. I think Biden should have picked her as his vice president. Definitely not Kamala. I think we both agree she's a disaster, and definitely not a real progressive person like another Elizabeth Warren. Sanders, thank God, I think is too old. And I just want to make one more comment on this whole age thing. I am so sick and tired of people being too old. Trump is too old. He can't remember the candidates that he endorsed. Biden is too old. He looks like a fossil sometimes, okay? And you look at Nancy Pelosi is over 81. Mitch McConnell is almost 80. You know, and Chuck Grassley is running for re-election at 88. Dianne Feinstein is 88. She can't remember things. Let's have a rule. You can't be elected to national office if you're over 80. Anyway, your thoughts, please.
Well, Dave, yeah, I agree with you that, but I think the answer, though, is a cognitive test. I think that there are some people who are over 80 who are much sharper than people who are much younger than them, and that a cognitive test would be the way to solve for that, and that Joe Biden should take a cognitive test. I do think that he should. And Donald Trump has taken a cognitive test and has shown that he's much sharper. So, but the fact that there is no constitutional amendment on the age, I think that you're going to be hard pressed that the Constitution does not put an age cap. And I do not think that those people in Congress are going to put that cap on. It's kind of wishful thinking in that result.
One can only hope.
Yeah. But and then as far as what you're saying about, being who he really was or who he, used to be. Yeah, really, Biden. Because I think that that's very interesting. and that I think that there might be some truth to that if Biden were to actually be who he used to be and the principles he used to hold. For example, he used to support a ban on abortion, and he used to say that Roe v. Wade was wrongly decided. And he also used to be much more supportive of law enforcement instead of trying to issue an executive order to reshuffle funding, which is the same thing as defunding. You can call it whatever you want, but he used to be that person. So he might be. And I think that Barack Obama is someone who would agree with that because basically when he colluded, shall we say, with the Russians, he said to Medvedev, I'm going to have a lot more flexibility when I don't have to run for office again. So I think there's some truth to what you're saying, Dave.
Well, I have to laugh when anyone who supports Trump, who is Putin's puppet, talks about colluding with Russia. It makes me laugh. But I will say that I think it would be very good for the country, and I do think we need to get some fresh blood up. And same thing with the Republicans. You look at someone like Charlie Baker, you look at someone like Larry Hogan. They have very high approval rates as Republican governors in very blue states. So those are the kind of people I would like to see run for president. But unfortunately, I may win the Boston Marathon before one of them gets the nomination.